Salutations, everyone, and thank you for watching episode 70 of DiabeticRadio.com. Tonight, I'd like to tell you guys a story. I know how you guys love my stories. I'm not going to drop any names or places because, you know, it happened so long ago. Also, I've realized that my blog has become more popular, and I don't want to give any impression to any of my current physicians or any other person that works in the medical profession that, you know, if I'm there, I'm going to eventually talk about you on my blog at any given time. You know, that's not the purpose of my blog, but this is an experience I had, and I feel that it's very important to talk about. I hope that this particular video won't be a long video, but you know, I'll try not to, but here it goes. This video, this episode is about a bad procedure I had a number of years ago. You know, for a lot of us, when, you know, we're kids, most of us have had to deal with the issue of pimples or zids, acne, whatever you want to call them. And unfortunately, a lot of men of color particularly, and some women too, but not too much, it's mostly us, you know, men of color that get something called keloids. Look it up. I think it's spelled Keloids. And mine was a mixture of like razor bumps and keloids, and I had a lot of them, and they were located you know, behind my neck, as with also a lot of us guys that are people of color. And I know how they're created, but I never really knew what triggered them. But for me, I have a funny feeling that it was a childhood barber when I was a kid. Back then, for some reason, I don't know what it is. Sometimes I think that it was, you know, maybe a barber just, you know, mad at the girlfriend or something, you know, because a lot of personal stuff seems to happen at the barber shop, you know. You know, they were mad at the girlfriend whenever they take it out on it, you know, on their customer, and they just dig, you know, the razor in the back of my neck, and I used to really feel it, you know, on my skin, you know, and I really think that, you know, I was being cut up and just never realized it until, you know, it was too late. I really think that that's what caused my bumps. I had them as a teenager, and they unfortunately stayed for most of my adult life. Now, those of you who had them or still have them know that for most of us, it does a number on our self-esteem, you know, especially if you have a job, you know, working, you know, with the public. I've seen a dermatologist when I was, you know, very young, and two doctors looked at my, you know, combination keloid / pimples on my neck, and they said that shots of cortisone would do best. Now, I'm young. I was young then, and I was a teenager. So at the time, my attitude was, no way. My keloids were already big and they were painful, and I just wasn't, going for it. I just could not bring myself to get those shots for X amount of time back then. I was so insecure about my keloids, because it's out there. Everybody saw them. That I asked the dermatologists about laser surgery. Back then, in the 80s, they were very popular. In fact, I think there was a guy, I don't know if you guys remember, his name was Dr. Zismore, that was all over the TV. He really made that laser surgery really popular. So in my mind, I was like, hey, what about that? And both doctors warned against it. So they said that the keloids, I guess the type of keloids that I have, or the current condition that I was in, anything that I do to them, 90% of the time, it would eventually come back. So, however, being scared of the needle at the time, going in, my neck back then, I just, I didn't want that. So I just opted to get a cream to use. The cream really didn't do much work, back then. But I think it was mainly because of a combination of puberty and just other things. Growing up, a lot of chemical changes just happens when you're transitioning from, teen to adult. And who the hell knows, maybe my unknown diabetes back then contributed. So anyway, fast forward some years later, I revisited the idea of laser surgery. And back then, my mentality, or I should say my rationale for it was, I thought of it kind of like boils. You know how, like they say, if you get rid of the head, of the boil, they don't come back. I kind of saw it like that, because, pimples are really like mini boils. It's just another name for a tiny boil, that old saying about getting rid of the head and stuff, that wasn't true. I found that out. Anyway, but this was, what I was thinking. If I burn the root of the infection, because that's what a keloid really is, an infection that basically has over-healed itself, in layers, they come back. So I was talking to a great and caring doctor that was not a dermatologist, but a general practitioner who performed laser surgery as an additional service that was offered at the doctor's facility. The doctor suggested that laser surgery can be the best option for my situation, in terms of permanently getting rid of my keloids. So I had them done. After all, the person is a doctor, right? I was eager to start this, procedure. The doctor's assistant performed the procedure, and the procedure not only burned my keloids, but after a couple of sessions, it almost burned away my entire neck. My neck had second-degree burns, in essence. I'm not even going to say first degree. It was second degree. It looked really bad. But I kept going because I believed this was, the best thing for me. Plus, my doctor, told me so. There was that trust factor. Now, imagine how, you can see how dark I am. You can see how dark I am. The back of my neck, my skin was burned bright pink and swelled because laser, it's heat, it burns your skin. That's what laser does. It looks so nasty, guys. I stopped the treatment short of, I think it was 2 or 3 I had left to go, just because the procedure became too painful, and I obviously had what I thought would be irreversible damage to my skin at that point. I feel to this day so blessed, very, very blessed, that my neck healed so nicely and so well the way it did. My keloids are almost gone. It's like a little couple, but they were nowhere near as bad as it was when I was a teenager. But it cost me. It was a very high price I had to pay. Not sure if I would do that again. The reason why I'm telling you this story is because this is as close to a real example as you're gonna get as to the importance of getting a second, third, fourth, and even a fifth opinion, in addition to reading. And even reading, you have to be careful, okay? Because in terms of diabetes, oftentimes an author of one book would just make a lot of references and or gives resources, as most books of that nature should, to give resources to another book that supports the writer's claims. But then that author of the book that was referenced makes reference to another book that may or may not come from hard research, hard evidence, or maybe the book that was referenced, or the information that was referenced, is not even updated, because sometimes, like I told you before, there's a lot of old information that gets recirculated. And also, you never know whether someone makes a statement based on opinion and not fact. Even a doctor can have an opinion on you, and it's not necessarily a fact, it's an assumption, you know. This is why I recommend that your reading should also include the leading research organizations like the JDRF, the ADA, American Diabetes Association, or even TCOYD. You know, that's a good resource of diabetic information as well. You know, we know that diabetes can, you know, cause heart disease, take away our sight. You know, I've definitely experienced that. Take away our hearing. Did you know that? Diabetes can take away your hearing, take away your ability to touch or feel, or give you a life of pain because of neuropathy. It can even take away our lives. Just to name a few. And for the life of me, I don't understand why are people still so nonchalant about diabetes. We know that television has been responsible for perpetuating some of the worst stereotypes about, you know, people in various, you know, cultures and races, and yet so many people believe every single thing they see on TV. In fact, some of these same people, sometimes I think, you know, some of these people also, you know, hope that God would just, you know, send information from heaven and let it plop on their lap. Not only do they want that information to be plopped on their lap from the sky, you know, they also want you to read it to them too. And sometimes I really think that, you know, there was a time, you know, not too long ago, you know, where it was, you know, I mean, and I'm only saying this, I'm not trying to make this a white or black thing, but I'm saying this because, you know, diabetes affects so much, a large part of the black community. You know, that's something that we can't deny. You know, it's there in the numbers, okay? There was a time when it was illegal for people of color to learn how to read. You were taken to jail if you were caught teaching a black person how to read. Now we have access to an infinite wealth of knowledge and information at our fingertips, and we just don't grab it. What the hell? Even if someone doesn't have a computer, okay, if you give up at least one vice, like, you know, give up sodas for a month, or maybe give up cigarettes just for a month, with the amount of money some of you guys pays for cigarettes in a month, you would be able to afford one diabetes book. And that's a fact. If you just give up cigarettes just for a month, you know, or maybe 2 months, you'll be able to get one of those, you know, diabetes Bibles from the American Diabetes Association, which is a very good resource for diabetes information. I come to realize that what's killing people of color is not really diabetes, it's our friggin' belief systems, you know, and and being slow to change. If you guys haven't seen my video on Galileo, I highly recommend it. It's long, but, you know, I make good points. As a community, if we can just be honest with ourselves for a minute, this has always been the core problem. Look, both learning the truth and change can be equally as traumatic and devastating as continuing down the road or the path that will eventually lead you to a ton of complications and physical and emotional hardship. I know this, you know, I'm not just talking out of my ass. I'm talking out of real experience. A lot of stuff I had to learn hard on my own. You know, information did not come easy. I had to really go out and grab it. And you know, like I said before, my main focus really was my diabetic family around the world. I didn't expect so many non-diabetics to frequent my blog, and you know, I'm very happy about that. That was quite unexpected. For me anyway. I know that might sound stupid, but you know, I guess I was just so focused on trying to get in touch with my diabetic community, I just didn't think about anything else. However, at the same time, because of people's belief systems, it took a long time for people to relate. I had to really break stuff down in baby steps, you know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it was also because, you know, I talked about a lot of things that, you know, no one else has talked about, you know. But to wrap things up, remember that diabetes, and I've always said this, diabetes is not just a list or a scroll of do's and don'ts. Diabetes is a way of life. Taking your medication, eating right, and exercise is only a fraction of what it means to live life as a diabetic. And this is something that no doctor can give you despite our technologies. We must go beyond what is told to us. You know, I beg of you, you know, sometimes, you know, you hear something, you think because it's on TV, you know, you have a horde of people moving this way. Oh, they said diabetes is this, and you have a horde of people moving in this direction. Oh, they said it about this now. It's the carbs. It's the calories. You go over here. Oh, no, it's because you're not having vitamin D. The crowd goes over this way. So you follow wherever the trends go. But like I said, you know, diabetes is complicated. It's many things. There's no one core problem, you know. And many businesses, you know, are very happy that a lot of people don't read, because it's easy to sell you false hopes. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair. You know, it just makes it very difficult for you to find the truth, you know. And sometimes, you know, it may not even be that. You know, sometimes, you know, you can read a lot but not truly understand if you're not diabetic. And sometimes, you know, you can take some information and make a lot of assumptions, you know. And that's what some of these books do. They make assumptions based on pieces of stuff that they read and see from other books, you know, and turn it into a whole new thing. So anyway, I babbled enough. Sorry about that. I hope you guys took away something from this video. And you know, I truly believe that the only way someone can truly learn about their diabetes is to live in honesty and to share your experiences with others honestly, you know. And at the same time, that doesn't give a non-diabetic the cue to start, imposing all their, beliefs on the diabetic. A lot of us are doing good, and that includes myself. My numbers is very good, and I don't need anyone assuming that I need to be taken care of. I can take care of myself very well. So guys, take care, and love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your support, and see you next time. Bye.